The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. Off the crank. Lost and found. It has come to my recent attention that, rather like snails, worms, snakes, and smart draft excluders, as well as other species of slow-moving invertebrates, certain mortals of a supposedly restricted mobility have, under specific conditions, evolved the ability to travel at near light speed whenever they depart another observant entity's field of vision, either when the latter deliberately turns their back, such as during a convivial family game of "What's the time, Mr. Wolf?", or simply happens not to be looking. Today's parentally themed plod was a classic example when my lifelong business partner chose to commence her scheduled 1,000 daily steps alone, urging me to stay put in the kitchen, which resides on the first floor of her recently acquired abode, as she was only planning one short out and back. Not wanting either to forfeit a free fix of unfiltered oxygen, or be seen to disobey her kind wish, I deliberately delayed my departure until guesstimating she'd have had time to step outside and travel no further than a few furlongs down the road, whereupon I could covertly track her steady progress from a discreet distance. No sooner had I heard the front door close than I sprung up, ambled downstairs at a lively lick, yanked it back open and stepped over the threshold, into the mellowing afternoon sunshine, felt a stiff westerly breeze upon every square inch of exposed skin, then glanced in both unobstructed directions. Not one sign of Mamma did I glimpse. Nothing, in fact, save for trees stretching their leaf-lined limbs towards silky cirrus veils in a sailor blue sky, and one bewildered baby herring gull. I strolled briskly to the nearest road that led south, assuming she'd altered her planned route, but again saw nothing but scarified tarmac and crazy paving as far as my eyes would permit. The aforementioned wooden sentinels emitted contented rustles on cue from the wind, as though whispering directions to the whereabouts of my absent companion. Following one brief exploitation of mobile communication technology, I established that she'd somehow managed to teleport a full kilometre round the block, at least twice as fast as her voice could travel over O2's flaky 5G network, and in under 1,000th of the time that it took me to racewalk the same distance to meet her. After reuniting, we sat on a nearby bench and watched a bunch of novelty helium balloons box each other's strings off at a local child's birthday party. This prestigious exhibition match's main contestants were an overinflated number 8, one flat-footed flamingo, and a potted cactus, unperturbed by the prickly heat, all weighing in at a combined total of minus 120 grams. After an intense and elementally aggravated battle that lasted slightly longer than our united journey home, the dirigible digit edged a narrow points victory, though the judges' greetings cards were rendered ineligible by colourful squiggles before any scores could be officially verified. Impulsive action. May congratulations cascade in an orderly digital deluge from Strava's cloud-roaming fitness fetishists, whom, through a finely calibrated combination merging hyper-algorithmic intuition with an ever-deepening knowledge of sentient biomechanics, determined that you successfully pounded out close to 3,000 atypically up-tempo paces over an impromptu 2.5-kilometre stretch of Shoreham's crazily paved peninsula, soundly slaughtering any daily move targets that one in an array of smart devices may have covertly amended at the behest of their activity tracking platforms. A balmy yet bullish southwesterly breeze may have whipped St. Beaufort's pole-axed weather vanes into their usual flappy displays of wildly diverse patriotism, though this invisible resistance also served as elemental EPO, by providing you with a speed boost that ranged from 3 to 5% throughout the concluding 10 minutes. Plod and ponder. Another substantial fix of humanity's safest, most self-sufficient and definitively grounded form of active recovery, paced to pass otherwise idle thinking time, and accompanied by a brief but surprisingly stimulating deluge of drizzle. Approximately 5,000 evenly spaced strides were detected, with a marginally high proportion being heel-heavy, and executed with the lateral stability of a mildly inebriated flamingo. Not that I'd know. Despite this atypical gait, negligible pronation was identified, whilst levels of energy consumption remained impressively conservative, though still an order of magnitude above the previous Tory government's 2050 target of net carbon neutrality. Half a beach park run. The monitored version of yesterday's fleeting return to purposefully paced pavement pounding, which still felt twice as hard as it must have looked, both to Professor Polar's advanced powers of optical observation and the gentleman saddled on an overloaded tandem, whom I puffed past down Old Fort Road, whilst trying desperately not to faceplant with each laboured plod, which remains a stiff challenge when hampered by a pair of loose-fitting Crocs. A measured average pulse palpitating at Zone 3's grass-green borders, when coupled with the elevated impact, equated to what would have been a 15-minute thrash for the same perceived effort on a bike. Unless wind chill, potholes, driving rain, and other forms of ambient adversity imposed greater degrees of physical discomfort when endured at higher speeds.